Guess we live this morning.
Yes, I think we are set, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna share it for a second. Just hold on.
What?
What's wrong? Funny?
Huh? Okay.
Is it acting funny?
No, you fine for the most part.
Hold on 1 second. Oh man. All right, hold on.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
All right. Yeah, make sure we good. Make sure we're good. All right. Hey, everybody, I'll be with you. We shall be with you in 1 second. I'm just doing something to make sure. All right.
Y'all know how Charles
All
do. Y'all know who Charles do. Y'all know how he do.
The world could be a better place if people didn't hate so much. But anyway,
if you didn't have hate, then you wouldn't know what love was. What?
You, man. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Unscripted. I'm your host, Dixon, and this one person is calling himself trying to knock me off the block, and I guess he's trying to say unscripted with Adam Ford and Charles Dixon. But anyway, make a long story. Welcome my guest, returning guest again, Mr. Adam Ford. By popular demand, folks have been they have been making their requests known that they always enjoy Mr. Ford and his prolific offerings. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Even though I had to pay people to say it, but anyway, nonetheless.
Well, you should get your money back, bro. I hope you can get a refund.
Oh, God.
What?
Yeah, pay folks get their money back.
I mean, man, get your money back.
All right, test it. We good? Right. Make sure this thing is testing in there. Yeah. Okay, got it. All right, just want to make sure. All right. Now, so Mr. Ford, today let's get a little. Today's premise is basically we're going to be speaking on just some love. Let's focus on some love gems. Love gems. I'll explain that later on. Love gems is another movement I've been working on in the background, but I'll kind of talk about it later. But for now, today let's throw some random questions out there. And one thing in particular, and I gave you a little piece of this earlier, but one thing we can start with this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this? What's more important, finding someone or finding someone that fits you?
Okay.
Now, on the surface, I know most people would probably say, well, why not find somebody that fits you and your lifestyle and all the things that work for you? But before I give my opinion, you go ahead on, sir, and tell me what you think.
What?
We already talked about this.
We did, but you okay, so you posed it to me like this, and that is the fact that if you find somebody, well, basically, I guess what you were trying to say was finding somebody that fits you doesn't always work, because then you have to, I'm not sure what you were trying to say.
They put it on me. All right, so look. So listen, really.
I'm just trying to explain how you need to explain what you said to me. Explain it to them. Explain it to me.
All right. So basically, let me say, hey, what's good, Mr. Bruce? I was just saying good.
Hey, Bruce, what's up, bro?
But anyway, what I was saying is, people are always in the world. We always say, oh, I just wish I could find somebody. I want to find somebody. And then you have that genre of people that say, I want to find someone that fits me. And I said, I wanted to say, is there like a difference to you? Because if I think about it, if I think of it solely off the fact of somebody saying, I want to find somebody that fits me. To me, the first thing that comes out is, and this is, I'm always going to come from the left side. I'll give you your pedestal to come back at this one. But
Whatever.
For me, it puts me in the mind of someone just wanting to come into a scenario where someone basically makes it minimal for them to change. Basically, if you think about someone just coming in solely to fit you, that's a situation where you don't have to adjust. Now, we all know all of us are jacked up. We all have some degrees of issues and so on and so forth. So to say we want someone to come in and to just accept us as we are could be a tall order if we're not willing to change,
Well, yeah, and okay, right. So here's the thing, and this is what I was saying to you, that even if you do find somebody that checks all your boxes and you guys mesh well, does not by any means eliminate the fact that you're still going to have conflict with that person, that to some degree you're still going to have to change and they're still going to have to change. You know why? Because they're individuals. You're not identical twins. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the other person hopefully has a mind and the will of their own to form their own opinions, because you don't want a yes woman or a yes man in your life. You want somebody who can stand flat-footed and tell you the truth in terms of what they're thinking and what their own opinions are. So even if you do find somebody who you believe that you have a future with, and you believe that you guys can go the distance, again, that does not mitigate or eliminate the issues that you will have. It's a fact of life. I think what it does is it does relieve some of the press and the stress that you might have with finding somebody who is more along your line of thought versus finding somebody who is totally and completely the opposite of what you are. That's when you're going to run into a real problem. That's when you're going to have real difficulties. And the fact of the matter is that relationship is doomed from the start, because you at least need to be with somebody who is aligned with how you believe in your core values. If you find somebody else other than that, I mean, I don't know what to say.
So could it be that you're saying, or that you are challenging the theory of opposites attract?
To some degree, well, let's see. Okay, so opposites attract. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you're going to have some differences with the person that you're with. You're going to have some. You're going to also have some similarities at the same time. But I don't believe that you should be so opposite and so diametrically opposed to the person that you want to be with, because that's gonna present a problem. What you got to understand is the fact of the matter is that even though we do mesh with one another and we do flow with one another, again, that does not mean that I'm not going to have a difference of opinion with you. That doesn't mean that I'm going to have a different perspective, because I am going to have a different perspective. I don't want to be with somebody who sees everything the same way that I see it. Why would I want that? Come on. I mean, who wants to date themselves like that?
But you know what? There is a mass consensus that of people when it comes to the dating scene, and when they feel they may have lucked up and I guess found a potential connection. And one of the most common things that you hear is, "Oh my God, I'm so into Adam." I mean, and the person will be like, "Why?" "Because he gets me." And they'll say that the person gets them. And so getting them initially, and then someone enduring a lifetime of relationship with you, is obviously two different things. Because in the beginning, they may be able to get some of the things that you may like and some of the things you may even stand on. But to really get somebody, you have to get behind them and endure. Because you can get somebody up front. We all can look good and sound good on paper up front.
Right.
But when the thing grows out to materialize, then a lot of times we end up saying, I don't know, I thought you got me, but perhaps I was wrong. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, but even with getting somebody, okay, and we can definitely have an understanding of one another. We can have a deep understanding of one another. But that does not change. That should not change the fact that we still mess with one another. Just because I get you doesn't mean that we're not going to have a difference of opinion. Just because we get each other doesn't mean that I see it completely the way that you see it, that we have the same perspective. Again, it's about being an individual. With my idiosyncratic way of thinking, the way I approach things is uniquely who I am. And there's no duplication in that. Okay. And the way that you are is idiosyncratically just the way that you are. You are uniquely who you are. And I, to some degree, I understand that. To some degree, I can relate to that. To some degree, I get that. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to have problems, that we're not going to have issues, that we're not going to have moments when we don't see eye to eye on every situation. The beauty of the relationship in terms of having the differences is me being able to accept the differences and value the difference of you and me. That's the beauty of the relationship. Again, I got to reiterate, who wants to be in a relationship with somebody who is exactly like you?
Wow.
The beauty is in the fact that even though you're different and I'm different, we still come together and we make one.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the real
that comes from. Yeah, and the beauty of it really comes from both people coming together in a non-critical perspective and just, respecting one another's differences. And we don't really do that today. Today, we want people to come in and fit our culture. And now you may want the person to be able to adapt, but sometimes for a person to totally fit your culture, they have to be almost clone-like. You understand what I'm saying? And if that person is different, they may be able to like certain things. Let's just take you. Okay, maybe there is, you're in a marriage where you have different cultures.
Yeah.
Where while there are things you may say, hey, I embrace and I love this, and this is great. And then you may say, but on Thursday night, I can take me a hamburger. Just making an example. It doesn't mean you don't like the culture, but you maintain your own standard of things that you like. So, we have to get to a point where we have to not put so much emphasis on someone necessarily fitting perfectly, because when you get someone that fits perfectly, that person is simply just cloning themselves for your benefit. Basically, condensing themselves into a closet to please you, but they're not necessarily happy themselves.
Right. And see, that's what you don't want. You don't want somebody who's just doing things to please you. They still need to be who they are. That's the person that you are in love with. That's the person that you are committed to. You're not in love with the person just because they're doing things just to make you happy. Come on. That's not going to last very long, because in the end, they're not going to be very happy with that. And it does mean that we have to have, I'll put it to you like this. If you're going to enter into any relationship, whether it's within your race or outside of your race, you have to approach it with an open mind. You can't be closed-minded. You can't walk into the relationship with you can't walk into the relationship with a predisposition. You can't walk into the relationship prejudiced. You can't walk into the relationship with your agenda in terms of what it is that you want to do and how you want to do it, without being willing to some level acquiesce to the person that you want to be with and allow them to do what they want to do as well. If you're not going to be open-minded in the relationship in terms of the person that you're courting, then there is no point in courting, because it's going to require you to be open-minded to hear what the other person has to say. It also, like I've said before, it also calls upon you to be to some degree versatile. And I'll use this word: you have to become elastic so that you are stretched, to become more in the relationship. And a lot of us have difficulty with being elastic because we're so stuck in our ways. We're so rigid and frigid in terms of what we do. We do what we do, and that's how we do it. And if we don't do it, you can hit the high, it's my way or the highway, basically. That's what we're saying.
No, that's real talk. And one of the most fatal realities of relationship is to encounter someone who says, I get you, you get me, and then they leave you. You understand what I'm saying? That's the harsh reality. Because you're thinking when someone says you get me, I get you, you complete me. It's the statement alone is so much totality in that, and so there's a confidence and a sure comes with someone giving you that kind of comfort, and then because now you're saying, so when you hear that, you're thinking, okay, this person not only gets me, but they understand my idiosyncratic ways, my weird stuff, and they're going to just flow through this with me. Right. But in some cases, a lot of times when we are placed in the pressure cooker, that's when a lot of the decisions are made as to whether someone can really weather the storm or not. Yeah. And in the harsh reality, sometimes it's a beautiful thing if you can come out on the other side of the oven, looking over, and the both of you all are charred, but you smiling at each other. But it's another thing to come out the oven alone, and the other person have got disintegrated in the oven. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Now, let me just add another dimension to this phrase, you get me. And that is the fact that you get the part that you can understand. Yeah. You get the aspect of them that you can relate to.
Yeah,
because good. I guarantee you, at some point in time within the life of that relationship, you're going to walk up on an aspect of that person that you don't get. And that's the truth of the matter. You're gonna walk up on that. You're gonna confront. You're gonna have to face an aspect or a dimension of that person, a facet of that person that you don't get. And see, this is where the difference comes in. This is where you figure out your ability to be elastic within the relationship, to be able to encompass an aspect of that person that you don't get. That's the truth of the matter.
Right. Wow. Yeah. I can say a story on that, but you're absolutely right.
I got a story in my head too. I was going to say, but I was like, you know what? Let me.
Man, I'm telling you, it's just that. So go ahead.
There are just some things. There are just some things that you as a person, if you're going to function within the parameters of relationship, there are just some things. Okay, there are some things that you will get and that you will accept and that you will understand, but then there will be some other things that you won't get. And it's okay not to get them. It's fine if you don't get them. That doesn't dismiss the validity of the relationship. That just says there's an aspect of this particular person that I don't necessarily understand. However, I'm still committed to them. I still love them. I still want to be with them, regardless of the difference that we have in this particular area, because we have more in common than we do not in common. See, that's what we miss. We want to talk about the things that we don't have in common instead of focusing on the things that we do have in common.
Yes. No, that's real talk. Because so basically what you're saying is we have to get to this place where we're just like, we accept these things, and we kind of, like you said, focusing on the positive. Because we're always looking for reasons to discount and discredit, as opposed to looking for a reason to build upon. There was a time back in the day when people would get together and you saw them together and you say, oh, I'm rooting for them because they're building. And it's like nowadays we are, like yesterday, we're self-sabotaging. We're in this competition. And instead of building, you're looking for ways to say someone is not necessarily hitting the mark. They're not necessarily doing their part. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You're not carrying your weight. And it's just, and we're so quick to click that switch of dismissiveness and just break camp. That's what we do today,
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
all right.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What are you going to say?
No, I wasn't going to say nothing. Go.
Okay.
I'm looking at
so we're going to shift. I'm going to shift to. So for those of you that just tuned in, the first question we were talking about was, what's more important, finding someone or finding someone that fits you? So we just spoke on that one. Here's question number 2. This is from this is a particular woman just asking this question, but this is something for men and women. This is a general question. The lady says, how do I read his energy? How do I know the path he wishes to take with me? I'm assuming this is a budding relationship just by what she just rambling off, because I'm assuming if she was married, she would probably have an idea of something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
or if this was a long-term relationship, I'm assuming this is new. And I would say this, like with anything, there is certainly today, and I promise you, I see this on a daily basis. When it comes to energy, it is so much petty behavior today. I mean, people are petty down to the dime. I mean, if Adam wake up and he don't speak when he's eating, I'm not gonna speak to him. If he don't say good morning to me, I'm not gonna say good morning to me. It's just no one is going the extra mile. It is literally, if you do this to me, I'm gonna do this to you. And it's like that mentality is killing us. But I'm saying that to say, when it comes to saying, what is this? How can I read this energy? You can. If you're a person that's kind of heavy on discernment and you kind of have a good intuitive nature about you, you can certainly pick up on that silent language that's not being spoken, right? You can certainly pick up on some things, and so you can feel it when it gets really thick. You can feel it. But more than anything, the way to gauge energy is you watch actions.
Okay.
Energy can be energy, but actions is what they actually produce. Okay. Energy is just the internal petty that they're just wanting to have this internal fight with you. That's not visual, or it's not physical. It is an internal spiritual fight. It's just like, I'm going to summon my mean inner monster so you can feel it and it can consume you. You know what I'm saying? But when you see a person begin to act and to do the things that will either show you that the person is either, number one, they're sold into what you're doing, or they're not. Okay. Sometimes when those actions begin to unfold, you get to see what you're dealing with.
Yeah. So you're speaking about energy in terms of it. Are you saying that energy,
like relational
relationship energy?
Like a person's individual energy within the relationship. The lady was trying to say, basically, how do I read his energy? I guess she's trying to figure him out. That's my guess. She's trying to figure him out. Some of the things he's doing, a little thrown off.
Okay. Has she tried actually
asking him,
talking to him? I mean, I think here's my take on it. And it's very short and simple. I think a lot of times I think we make things overly complicated that aren't as complicated as we think that they are. And that can lead to some serious frustration because you're overthinking. You're overthinking this. Yeah. Why not just ask him, are you okay? Because you seem a little off today, or are you feeling all right? Is something wrong? Yeah. And I think sometimes here's the thing, and I'm talking about what I've experienced my own self. I can sit here and I can create, based off of your energy, a narrative that is negative. I'm filling in the gaps because I don't know the answer to the questions. So I'm filling in the gaps with little to no information about why you're feeling or doing or acting the way that you're acting. And so now I've created this whole scenario in my own mind that I believe is true, and I haven't really even asked you if it's true or not.
How you feel about it?
Wow. Yeah, how are you feeling? And I think a lot of times we do this. It's not that complicated. Ask the question. Yeah. Hey, babe, you seem a little off right now. You seem a little something right now. That will dismiss all of this stuff. And I'm not saying don't be discerning. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm saying be discerning, but also ask a question. You know what I'm saying? Definitely discern your mate. Definitely know them, study them, catch their hints, catch their cues in terms of what they're doing or what they're not doing. And but here's the problem. The problem in terms of trying to discern somebody's energy, particularly if you don't have all the information, again, you'll begin to fill in the gaps with the little bit that you do know. And as you fill in the gaps, you'll begin to assume certain things, and you know what assuming does, don't you? You know what assuming does? Okay, I'm just saying. I think we need to take a step back, and be like, okay, you know what? Let me not get in my feelings about something that's not even real yet. Let me actually ask a question, start a conversation, initiate a discussion, and investigate as to what's really going on here.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much this is a presumptive time that we live in. People like to presume things, and they like to call themselves, I guess, kind of heading you off at the pass by learning what they think you need and what they think you may be feeling without having real communication. And I think that's the problem. And a lot of women will sit back and they wonder and they ponder and they I mean, women will sit up and they'll come up with all kinds of possible scenarios that's not even the truth. But you just need to just ask the person how they're feeling and go from there. And just, you know, 'cause a lot of times if you ask a person that's been really enduring something with you, and then when you ask them, if you have the patience to sit and really listen without getting, because I know it's hard to listen to the regurgitation of us, of who we are. Somebody's regurgitating back truth about you, it don't feel good. You know, it doesn't feel good to sit through. But if you can manage to have that communication and sit through it, as long as it's fair communication, because a lot of times we do a lot of mudslinging and we're bringing up arguments from 6 months ago to add to the validity of our point, all that kind of stuff. If we stick to the facts of what's happening right then and there, you can get some things done and accomplished if you discuss things openly, if you listen with comprehension and with an even keel temperament. A lot of times, you know, we get our emotions involved, and that changes the game.
Yeah. Let me add to that, and I just want to let me flip this on its head for a moment. Okay, so if I wake up with an attitude about something, or I'm feeling some kind of way about something, and as much as it is the other person's, I guess, responsibility to ask the question before they go and assume something, it's just as much my responsibility, the person who has the feelings or the murkiness or the melancholy, to voice what I'm feeling and to actually say, hey, you know what? I'm feeling a certain way. I'm feeling a certain way right now. And I think a lot of times if we actually, like you said, kind of to some extent, if we head it off in that way and actually communicate where we actually are. Because here's the thing, you know when you got an attitude, you know when you're being moody, you know this. So you also know that when you have an attitude, the other person that you're with is picking up on this. Now they might not necessarily know to what extent why you have an attitude, okay, but they know something is up. So why are we waiting for the question? At least be man or woman enough to say, you know what, I'm going through a couple of things. I got some things on my mind. I know I might be feeling a little off right now, but this is where I'm at. And again, this opens up the line of communication, and it keeps the other person from assuming a narrative that is not true. So I'm just saying, just kind of flipping on the script. Just, you know, if you wake up and feel, because I'm talking from my own experience. Sometimes, every now and then, I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood. Sometimes I don't even know why I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood. I'm feeling a little moody. I'm feeling a little attitude. Okay, fine. You know, but I need to own that. But see, and I should not be needlessly subjecting my wife Maria to my moodiness for no reason at all. Why not just be a man enough and own it and say, you know what, I'm feeling some kind of way today. I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but I'm feeling some kind of way today. She might have an answer to the reason why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Who knows? But you never know until you open up your mouth and ask and say what's going on.
Or she might just say, I know the problem, the answer. You just need to go downstairs to the couch. But anyway, That's why you feel in some kind of way. Go to the couch. No, I'm just playing.
But
listen,
but you didn't know I woke up on the couch.
Right. Already was on the couch.
I woke up on the
couch. No, that's good stuff, man. I mean, to know, like you said, saying that, because I found myself, honestly, I voice those things more to myself here lately. Like I said the other day, how some weirdly enough, some of these Mondays, when typically Mondays are some of my most full days of things I do, I notice sometimes I have a lot of anxiety on Monday. And when Monday comes around, it becomes more of a battle to do it. It's a struggle because there's a lot of things in play. And if you have the slight irritation here or there, it contributes to it and it just doesn't help. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we have to do better with just being honest with, like you said, how we are and stop assuming. Let's stop assuming, like to the lady, if she's watching, to ask the question, if you want to know where his energy level is, whatever, start talking. And if you start talking and listening, you're going to get an energy from him, whether it's going to be dismissive or it's going to be engaging, meaning he's going to be caring about what you're saying. Or if he's not, you're going to get an opposite reaction, but you'll still get the understanding as to where he's coming from. Yeah. And you know, you have some men, look, let's just be honest. Some men aren't big on conversation.
That's true.
Some men aren't. Some men are. I've heard men say, "Oh, ain't nobody doing all that talking." That's she say that for her book club. I ain't doing no talking. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is kind of built differently. You may have some men who may not mind going back and forth. It just depends. So that's just depending on the type of person that you're dealing with. Only she would know that. You know.
Yeah, and I think too that you need to, if you're with this person and you've been with them, then to some degree, okay. So if you're starting out with this person, then you need to build the lines of communication with this person, whether it's through verbal talking, whether it's through body language, whatever. There needs to be built a line of communication between that person and yourself. But over the years, that communication should mature. It should grow. Okay. Anybody who's going to be in a relationship, you got to talk to some level. You got it. Because if you're not going to talk, how are you going to be in a relationship? And I understand, brothers, I get it. I understand. We were not taught how to communicate. I totally understand that. But to some degree, we have to take responsibility for learning how to do the things that we don't know how to do. Get with another brother that you know how to communicate. Get with somebody who knows how to do what you don't know how to do, so that you can learn how to do what you don't know how to do, so that you can become a master at that thing. So that when you walk into a relationship, you have something to bring to it. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm not just talking about a nice car. I'm not just talking about a house, but I'm talking about bringing your feelings and your emotions. Those are the assets of your relationship. If you're not walking into your relationship with communication, with understanding, with empathy, with an open-mindedness, then what are you walking into the relationship with? You closed mouth, you closed off, you got your walls up, you don't want to talk about how you feel, but you want to be with somebody. Really? Let me know how that works out. That's all I'm saying.
But now listen. Now you are talking about the modern day reality of people just simply. It's like people nowadays. We want test dummies. Test dummies don't talk. Test dummies are just lifelike. They're lifelike. They're able to withstand wreckage of all sorts. They can take abuse. They can do all of this, but it's like, and if you don't look too closely when you're driving by in the car, how many times have you seen people ride down the street when they want to get in that HOV lane and they have that dummy in the car with them? It's not a real person, but they do it to be able to get by. So this is how relations are. People today are saying, listen, I'm done with trying to relate on the normal level as I've known it, because I've been burned by it. I don't trust the process anymore. People are fake. People aren't genuine, whatever. Just give me a crash dummy. A crash dummy is a person that's built to endure me and all of me. Because if you're a person that's going to inflict, insult, harm, and injury, you need a crash dummy. They're not going to talk. They're not even going to say ouch.
Wow.
You're just going to see see the effects on them, but you're not going to hear or get any emotion out of it. And that's what people are going for. They want the person to play the part, look the part. Come on, put that suit on and go to church with me. Go with me to my so-and-so. Go to this event with me. But don't give me any, I don't want to hear your opinions or what you want to do. I just need you to be this crash dummy and participate. It's time to go lay down now. This is time for me. This is going to segue us into the next one. But it's time for us to lay down now because now I need my physical attention.
Right.
Come on. And so this person is just, okay, all right, wherever you want me to go, you know, that's what it is. Man.
That was kind of heavy right there. I don't know. Jesus. Yeah. Crash Dummies, son. That's a lot.
We want just think about it. And here's the crazy reality. Before any of the beautiful automobiles that we so in love, hey Bruce, before you can get them that S class, that beautiful Mercedes that you love, sir, before you can get any of these products, they have to first be crash tested. Do you understand what I'm saying? All of them, all of these beautiful car plants have a section in the back where it's not seen to the public, but all you see back there is shoom, bam, bam. They just ruining perfectly beautiful cars just for the sake of saying, I need to prepare this before it gets to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so that's where we are. So, you know, some people just saying, hey, don't put that particular crash car out for sale. Just go ahead and slide out of the garage. I'll buy it just right here. I just want that. Give me the crash dummy. I don't want the finished product. I just want that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. So, well, you know what's interesting, we can move on from this, but what's interesting is about the fact that Crash Dummies, the purpose of Crash Dummies is to test the vehicle to make sure that the vehicle is safe, number one, and meets U.S. federal government regulations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we get into relationships that aren't safe. They haven't been crash tested. And so we end up being the crash dummy in the relationship.
Wow. By default. By default.
And it's not like, and here's the thing. Let me just kind of mess it up all. Let me just make it really, really messy. And it's not even the person who's doing the crashing is not even fully aware to some extent as to what they're doing. And I've said this before, they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. There's a fault within them that is so dysfunctional that keeps them from relating in the right way. And so every person that they meet, regardless of how good they are, ends up becoming a crash dummy. Because the relationship that they're in isn't up to code. It's not safe. You can't drive this relationship anywhere. You can't. Not until this person, that's the person who's causing all the havoc, not until that person gets fixed and gets right. We need to take this person back to the garage, back to the mechanic, and we need to fix this. We need to fix the brakes. We need to change out the engine block. We need to change the mufflers. Something is wrong.
Something is wrong.
Yeah.
And to take it even further, we're talking about the regulations and all that kind of stuff, U.S. regulations. Think about it. Even if you and I went out here today or tomorrow and found the vehicle that we love, at the end of the day, it still needs to go through inspection.
Yes.
Emissions before it is legitimized.
Right.
Well, it can look nice, but it hasn't been inspected. And a lot of times we are the equivalent of me going outside and having a hand-to-hand transaction and saying, hey, I like your car, man. Here's 10 grand for it. Thank you. And I just slap on some dirty tags that don't go to the car, and I can very well just start driving. As long as I don't drive erratically, nobody's going to bother me. So you have that, and you're doing that. You're going out here and you're picking up people that have not been inspected. They look nice. We start them up and they purr like normal. You don't hear any engine issues. You don't see any smoking. They're just normal. But in time, a relationship like that will always have stress and strain, and you'll find yourself looking over your back because you're looking for the man. Because you know at any time if you get stopped, it's over. Like if you get stopped and you don't have any legitimacy to back up this car. It hasn't been through emissions. It doesn't even have the tags. Don't even go with it. It hasn't been through inspection or nothing. So what's going to happen is they're going to impound your relationship. It's going to be taken to the back to the yard by default anyway. And check this out. You're not going to be able to get it back until you present the proper paperwork.
Yeah.
So meaning you're going to have to go back to the process anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so we got to work on that. Something that I think a lot of us do. And we find ourselves in these situations that are crazy a bit or misunderstood or just seem like a conundrum because, like I said, a lot of times we don't realize that we're in love with a crash dummy. Wow. That's what it is. A lot of times we find ourselves in love with a crash dummy. And if you only knew the history of a crash dummy, because I'll tell you why. The crash dummy itself stays hacked, but the vehicles that they have been in and out of look horrendous.
Oh yeah.
You understand? The vehicles have all sorts of damage, but the crash dummy, it just sit there one expression, and they pull them out and take them to another car, another relationship. And what you're not realizing is that you're attempting to love someone or try to love or try to teach or try to do whatever you're trying to do in a relationship, and to realize you're not even aware of just how much that person has undergone as by way of baggage, pain, hurt, and everything, and trauma. Yeah. You're just you're with them. And so, yeah, it's something.
That's a lot of trauma. Let me just add one more piece to this, and then we can move on from the crash dummy.
All right, go ahead.
But here's the thing. So with the crash dummy, yeah, you're right. They go through a lot of simulated car accidents because they need to get this test data to ensure that the car that the crash dummy is safe for human use. Okay. So, but part of the issue is the longer you use the same crash dummy, even though that crash dummy is as sturdy and as durable as it is, eventually the trauma of these car accidents will accumulate within the crash dummy to the point where the crash dummy is rendered useless. It's no longer functional. It's now wow. Okay, I'm blowing my own mind. It now becomes dysfunctional as a result of being through so many horrendous accidents that now it's no longer reliable in terms of the data that it gives to the people that are testing the cars. Now this data is faulty. Now this data is corrupted. It's no longer any good. In the car that we're testing it in, we can't use this crash dummy in this car because now this crash dummy is going to give me some false positives or some false negatives. Wow. Because this information coming from this crash dummy is no longer any good. Yeah. It's no longer any good. Yeah. I mean, what you going to do?
Yeah. Telling you. And then think about it like this. You got some men that can maybe attest to this, but mostly you think about little girls when they grew up, and like maybe at this day and age, you may have a grown woman that say, I still have some of my old toys at my mom's house. And when you go over there, she may have an old doll baby, those old ones that may, they're kind of cottony with stuff all inside of them. And after all these years, it's a weathered doll, but at worst, maybe you'll see a split at the seam and a little bit of the insides is hanging up, a little cotton is sticking out of it, right? So you imagine a doll not even have withstood all of that, and compare it to a crash dummy and how it looks at its point of exhaustion. Oh yeah, it'll be entirely different thing. And so I mean, this thing is we like you said, we have to be better at and I say this, I don't want to say again, I don't like when people are overly critical of people because I think it's judgmental and sometimes it's hypocritical. But we do need to do a little more psychological vetting before we say I do and before we go forward, because a lot of times we are going and we not even look. Sometimes you can call yourself a year in the game and you don't even know if the person you with have ever been arrested. Do you got a felony? Have you ever killed anybody? Right. Do you have HIV? You'd be surprised. Yeah. People will go on and they won't disclose a thing. Live life right on out with you and just be like, oh, my business is my business. It is, but if it's something that affects me, it becomes my business.
Yeah.
So you gotta people need to understand that. Yeah, it's your business, it's your history, it's your past. But if it affects me, it becomes my business.
Yeah.
If it doesn't affect me, then do you. But if it affects me, you need to disclose that.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's a mind reader. We're not magicians.
Right.
We're not magicians and all that. We need to know what's what. You know.
And here's the thing, though. Let me just throw this in there too. Yeah, we and I believe in full disclosure. I believe in being upfront, honest, and transparent as you possibly can be within the course and the life of that relationship, especially in the beginning days, especially in those first days, those first few weeks, those first few months. We should definitely be open and honest and transparent and make full disclosure as to what our life has been in terms of where we've been and what we've done. But here's part of the issue that I have with some of this. Part of the issue that I have with some of this is the fact that why can't we be truthful with the person that we're with so that they don't have to go and run reports on us and hire private investigators to investigate our past and running credit checks on us and trying to find out if we've been in jail or been locked up? Why? But see, here's what I'm saying. If we're honest and upfront from the get-go, then all of that stuff is not necessary. But because we hide so much stuff from the person that we're with, it leaves that door open to where the person now doesn't know who they're dealing with. And now they need some information so they can make a decision about what they're going to do with the rest of their life, because you have failed to make a full disclosure as to who you really are. Come on,
but check this out.
A private investigator for this. What?
But here's the other side of it. And you're 100% absolutely correct. However, the need for investigative measures and let me figure this and that out later, it only becomes important because you have 9 times out of 10 already given before you have consumed. So now, but here's the thing, this is where I'll fight back on this one. Because if you are given and you have not consuming, it's woe unto you. You have every opportunity to learn, ask the questions, figure out, find out before you give out, right? So if you give out before you consume the proper things, then look, you don't get to, because some of this stuff is abusive. You're trying to catch this thing up at the back end. I messed up front and gave it up to, I'm just using you as an example, Bruce. I messed up front and I gave Bruce some on the first day, second day. Okay, Bruce is going to be a man, and Bruce was opportunistic in the moment. But it doesn't mean at the end of week 7, behind Bruce's back, you done did a whole people facts on him. You done went and, girl, I don't play with my life. Yes, you do, because you didn't matter on day 24, on the first 24 hours. It does. You didn't value it. So don't get mad at abuse Bruce on the back end. But because we're using this stuff today, and we're using this ability to reach out and touch and find things. Here's the thing. We're not even finding out things to make a choice for. We're finding out things to use as controlling leverage against. Because when I know your business and I know your backdrop and I know your weaknesses, I know that I done ran your credit. I know you got horrible credit. So now I can really play on your psyche. Oh, I realized that you was so-and-so and you was locked up a little while. So I know I can play the felony game to make you feel less than. So this is why I have a big issue with people being invasive without asking you. Ask me. This is like at your job. You can sue an employer if they do a background check without signing off authorization. So it is no different in life. You don't get to just do you because you have a computer and a credit card at my expense and then think you're gonna treat me as a result of results. No, either you find out up front, ask the person the question, ask the things you need to know up front, and then go from there. But you don't get to do that slick stuff in. Well, I know some things. I just kept it to myself. Well, keep it to yourself and go over there to the corner to yourself, because I ain't dealing. Period. So that's how you gotta do it. I'm telling you, people today got it twisted with this whole I can do it. He won't know. Oh yeah, I will know. First of all, anybody that have their information padded enough, what you don't realize is anytime you run someone's social in any capacity, there is a hit that shows up. If a person is monitoring, you're not going to be able to get away with it. Right. So-and-so at mylifesearch.com, search you. Okay, well then you got an idea, and look at that. It's going to give you, it'll even give you the GPS location sometimes of them computers. It depends on, you don't know how technical the person you're dealing with is. You better back off. I'm just telling you don't even know. You don't understand. But people, it's a mess out here, man. We don't love fair. You know how you used to say people don't play fair? We don't love fair. We don't love fair. We put people in some virtual submission holds to get them to love us. We don't love fair. We basically choke a person to sleep by abuse. We choke them. You know how you put somebody to sleep on wrestling? Yeah. You put them to sleep. We lay them right down and relate with them as they are prostrate. That's what we do. We don't love fair. We cheat. We take off their oxygen and we just have a field day instead of just being vulnerable, being open, and just loving the person just organically. We don't do that. Just talk to them, find out what they like, what they don't like. What makes them click. How religious are you? How religious were you? How do you handle extreme anger? Let's talk about it. Be honest, because I'm telling you, it's nothing like falling deep in love with somebody that you've never seen turn up. That's one of the mistakes of your life, because I'm telling you, how a person responds to anger is everything. Because it will tell you how you can dwell with them going forward, and it's going to write your check as to whether or not you're going to have peace or hell in your life. If you got a person that cannot maintain under anger, get ready for a life of total chaos. Yeah, because they're going to be off the hook, uncontrollable. Look, let's just be straight. Let's just be transparent. Mm-hmm. This ain't the day. In this day and time, if we honest, nobody's advocating abuse or any of that. So let me put that as a disclaimer. But sometimes I want to just say, bam. But we all know the game is so rigged and twisted these days. A man don't have to do nothing. If you have an argument, he hit me, he getting arrested. He ain't did nothing. Right. But this is why you have to have the right person with you, because some people will try to push you to the point to imprison you. They'll push you so that they can imprison you. And you have to be able to just say, listen, I'm not dealing. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay within this space. I'm going to keep it copacetic. And that's it. So you need to know, if nothing else, forget about somebody's pension and benefits. No, how do you respond to anger? That's one of my most important questions. How do you respond to anger? Because that determines my level of peace with you. If you don't respond to anger well, then I'm probably not going to be peaceful, and then we're probably not going to be good. So that's it. So people need to know these front. I'm telling you, know them. So I won't go too long. I know this heavy, so I'll say this one last. I'll say that hopefully this question won't take us too heavy past the hour, Adam. But this is I said, here we go. Okay. So, person says, me and my guy is 3 years in. Care a lot about him. Give him a lot of props. He does a lot of positive things for the youth. He is a great example of man. She's a great example of man. Okay. However, I feel as though he doesn't have sex with me often enough. How realistic am I to want a great amount of sex within a weekly time frame? Like basically on a weekly basis, he's not touching her enough, right. And she wants to know how, is she wrong for being mad and fussing with him because he's not touching her enough? So she's actually saying to him, "Hey, we're not having sex enough." Is that what she's saying? Is that what we're saying? She told him. She's his cheerleader. He's good, great. but you're just not having a meeting with the queen enough. So he's mad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Yeah. Now this might have some repercussions, but here's the thing. I look at it like this. First, you got to establish. Let's establish the barriers of location. There's a different answer for someone who lives in the same house with you.
True.
Someone who may live not thousands of miles from you. Yeah. Someone who may live in the city. Mm-hmm. All those things matter when it comes to. Because let's just be honest. Constant sex or consistent sex really depends on proximity. Proximity and the convenience of. Proximity and convenience. It's like, because, now this is where sex is really where chemistry and connection counts the most. Okay. If you have a great chemistry with a person, you could have had a hellacious day at work, but you come home and y'all start to laughing over the stove, and there you go, something else is popping off. But if you don't have sex without chemistry, is a mechanical display. Yeah. I'll say that again. Sex without chemistry is nothing more than a mechanical display. Right. When you don't have the chemistry, when it becomes a duty or a job, and I'll say this to the lady, I know that you're frustrated. I know that you're mad, because I know for women, lack of sex can begin to tap into self-esteem, and it'll begin to make a person not feel attractive. Right. However, you have to be careful, because you don't want to force a person into them now making you a duty. Right. I got to go to work. Right. I got to do this. I got to go home and screw her. Yeah. You don't want that. If you never wanted anything to be free will, you want sex to be free will. Right. You want the person to be like, I can't wait to get off, or I got to get to where you are. I need to touch you. I need to do whatever. You don't want the person to be like, all right, because really, if the person is not touching you, but they've been touching you, there is a reason, and the reason goes beyond work and being busy. It's a reason they're not connecting to you. It's a reason they are becoming withdrawn to you. I mean, from you. No, we're not even going to bring in another person. We're just talking about the relationship, the two people. Right. Sometimes it's not another woman. It's not another man. It's a problem. It's an undisclosed problem that we have not discovered. Okay. And we are angry with each other, and we walking around in resentment, and we're following our normal protocol, and we're doing our normal duties and doing whatever we can do to keep ourselves occupied. But really, we're mad. We're angry because, like, listen, I need you to touch me. I need you to affirm me. And listen, another thing, when we get to a point where sex matters that much, to the point where it's just like when you can point the void of sex out so succinctly, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's no other life in any other part of the relationship to nurture from. And sex is the base default. Sex is the base default. So I need you to touch me so that I can have a little life, because everything else is dead. Okay. So the only thing that we can do to try to resurrect some life is screw. Wow. That's it. Wow. Because at least screwing, like screwing will tighten up the contents of what we have. Right. It'll maintain, like sodas. It'll maintain the fizz. Yeah. If we tighten this up and screw, but if we keep it loose, we run the risk of it becoming stale. Okay. And that's why people screw. They want to screw to preserve the contents. But you got to say to yourself, I don't want this thing to just become I just need to screw you just to preserve the contents. You want to be able to say, yeah, I want to screw you, but there's other areas in this garden we can plant between us that can grow. Yeah. Other things. The sex part, yes, it's great, but there's other things that you need to be able to tap into with each other to grow from, not just the screwing. Yeah, the screwing will help with the contents and preserve the content. But what happens when you are screwing on a cap to a bottle that's empty? You just screw. All you're doing is wearing out the grooves. There's nothing inside. There's nothing inside that's being protected. The bottle of contents are evaporated. It's gone. The relationship is dead, and you're trying to screw life back into it. The life only comes back into it when there is a hint of content still left in the bottle. Like when Boy Scouts are in the woods and they're trying to start a fire, and it's like, just blow on it, give it a little bit. As long as there's a little bit of fire there, you have some hope. There's no fire, that's when you need to turn. You know.
Okay.
So I would say to the lady, shy of you taking a trip to Victoria's Secret and being surprising, how about try something different? Let me help the ladies on tonight. Sometimes, and I'm only saying this, ladies, I'm not picking on the ladies, but I'm saying this because this is a lady asking the question, because I'm sure I can give us some advice to what we need to do too. But sometimes we have to tap into the reality of just who we are desiring to be screwed from. You're asking, you want the man to screw you. Well, understand this one thing. Men are visual. If he's sleeping on the job, he's probably sleeping because he has not had an image to remind him of what's there. If you let a man's mind go blank for a long time, he'll forget, or he'll turn the page and get another image. So you have to keep the image of you in the man's mind. That's what keeps men motivated. Like, I don't care what it is. Look, you can be at work one day, snap a picture of them legs and some heels, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Those small things will make a man remember that for the whole day. And he's like, I can't wait to get off. Oh, I need to do this. But if you just think you can keep talking to him, I love you, and there's no visual attached, it's falling on deaf ears.
Okay.
Men respond to visual. That's just what it is. Why do you think these Insta thoughts be having 1 million and 2 million followers? And these men aren't their men, but these men are their fans. They're the fans because now they Insta thoughts. Okay, they're in their own little thing. But if nothing else, they understand the need for the visual. If nothing else, they could be the normal people and women, whatever they are, but they got the one aspect right, the visual. So they promote the visual. And I'm not saying go out and be some hoes, but I'm just saying, listen, learn your person, and learn that, look, I need to provide a visual instead of all this fighting and being stubborn and saying, I'm not going to do nothing, but I need you to come home. He's not going to respond to that. If he's your man, and if he likes you and he's into you, he's connected to you, you got to feed into the thing that orchestrates his being. And with men, it is vision. That's what gets us into trouble. That's what gives us life. That shows us vision. It's vision. Vision is everything with men. You have to complement the vision. Without complementing the vision, there's nothing else left. You got to complement the vision of him, and that's how you draw. That's how you can keep a man connected. And listen, I'll mess you up with this. And that's how you keep a man erect. Vision. I'm telling you. Or paint the vision for him. Make it plain. Hey, the scripture says, write the vision and make it plain. Paint the vision. That's my scripture. Paint the vision and maintain. Trust me, it works. You got to paint the vision. You can't just be out here just willy-nilly talking and having these drawn out conversations, but there's no vision attached to it. He can hear your voice all day and say, yes, my baby, I sure do love you. But if he ain't, listen, ladies, if you're with the man, trust me, if you're with the man that is in touch with his visual, I guarantee you at some point or another, he's going to tell you to send a picture. And what you wearing right now? Send me this. It may seem creepy to you women. It may be like, because women, I've heard women be like, oh, he's such a, what is wrong with you? No, he is asking you to help me with my visual because I want to stay connected to you. Now, I'm not saying any random dude you just met one day and you want to show him a naked picture. I'm talking about relationship, marriage. I'm talking about maintaining that. And I'm talking about those times in the day where those little things, those little treats can help a person get through their day. It can help them overcome temptation, those little small things. But if you just always in your feelings and you mad, I'm not showing you anything, I'm upset with you. Well, guess what? That doesn't help the cause at hand. You have to feed the visual. And that's how you keep the man at erect. I'm telling you, feed him, feed the man. Trust me. No, don't try to bow out now. No, I say something.
Hey,
I'm
just stepping out the way. That's all I'm doing. I am stepping out the way. I don't want to be in the path of that right there. I'm stepping out of the way.
Let me help the men. The same thing works for the men. Women are visual as well. Yeah. Women love women. Why do you think women? You can take women somewhere and they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is so beautiful how you all decorated the shower." Like, women love beautiful things. So show the woman the beautiful things about you that she loves. It may think it's a little naughty, but it works. Look, men can do some flash shots too and send stuff to the women and get them aroused. But it has to be mutual. It can't just be the woman being enslaved and just providing all the beautiful things to him. No, reciprocate. And that's how you form a combustible reaction between the two sexually, by offering up what's needed together to survive. But sometimes it's not, if we're being honest, sometimes some of our problems only go away after we screw. Some of these problems are wrapped up in the fact that we backed up. That's really what it is. Some of these issues and problems are because people are not properly exfoliating sexually. Okay. They're not properly expressing themselves, and they're trying to go about their day, and they're not honest with their mate just because they're embarrassed to admit just how high their libido is. Some people have some crazy sex drives, crazy, and they will not admit it to their partner because they met the person and they kind of had a regular sex drive and they were like, yeah, it's good and I love you. But truth be told, the person is a chandelier freak. But they're not going to tell you that because they don't want you to be like, now look, I'm only one man. I don't have time to do all that. But they're like, listen, but this is what I need. I need you to do this because I'm going to be off base if you don't. My world is going to be twisted up if you don't. And a lot of people, look, you've seen situations where people could be at each other's throats. But I'm sure during this pandemic, some people have realized that screwing was the answer. Because I know they were hating each other for a good first month. And because they were realizing we're now having to address what we didn't address before the pandemic, which was we're no longer in our routines. Because if the routine can hide deficits of sexual nature. But when the world flatlines, the sexual deficit is staring you right in the face. Yeah. And sometimes people just need that to be a call to connection, a reason to connect. And when you connect, you'll realize that, wow, so you mean to tell me this argument really wasn't that bad and all we really needed was to connect? After all this time, I done called you every name in the book when all I wanted to do was connect. And that's really what people are really grasping for. They want to connect. And some people want to be heard because they feel like their thirst to connect is not being heard. And I really want to connect a lot more, but I don't think he gets me. And in this case, the lady is feeling like, I like that she at least started off. There's hope in this situation because she at least started off cheerleading him. Whenever you see a woman cheerleading the man, there's hope. Because if it started off saying he ain't doing his job, then that means she's out sending her resume out to get the job done. You understand what I'm saying? So in this case, she's at least saying, I still want you on the job. And so, you got to give it to that. Now why he's not touching you regularly, I don't know. Sometimes you got to dig into the depths of your relationship to see where things may be going awry. And only you two can know that. Maybe he don't like seeing you wear tube socks to bed and hospital clothes and what them things women wear on their head, what them things, them doilies like from church, women want to go to sleep in. You don't want to see that.
Do-rag.
How about you put that on once we start snoring? When the man stops snoring, then go in the bathroom and put on your smock and all these things. But until then, just look like Eve in the garden. We'll get along a lot better. But anyway, okay, I probably talked too long now. That's not it. All right, I'm just joking, ladies. We got to look good too. We got to make sure our nails are clean. We don't auto hands. Make sure we groove well. Good. We're not getting in the bed with stinky feet, underarms, bad hygiene. All those things matter together. But again, as long as this woman is still cheerleading, there's still hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
and as long as there's no one else involved, there's still hope. And sometimes, look, even sometimes if there is somebody involved, look, let's just be honest. Sometimes infractions happen on the court, on NBA court, in the NFL. We all love the game, but all throughout that game, we hear whistle blows. Whistle blows when there are infractions. And when the infractions happens, we don't know what kind of infraction it is. Oh, you did this, you talked to her, you texted him, you slept with him. How many times all these whistles are blowing in the relationship because we're on the field of play. There's one side over there, I'm on this side. We're on the field of play and we got referees. And as these things are happening, it's being offensive. It's being offensive happening on the left and the right. And so sometimes these things happen, but like we see on the field, sometimes it's still a great game. And when the game is over, people and they leave the field. So sometimes infidelity happens, whatever, what's the other word people hate so much? Betrayal happens, all kind of things happen. But if you and that person are committed to fixing it, if you and that person, I say that stress, if you and the person is committed to fixing it, not tearing each other down, not name calling, not trying to just trying to tear yourself, fry your self-esteem, but building it up legit, you can get through it. Trust me, you can get through it if the person cares enough to do it and is willing to build the blocks for you. And sometimes it's not easy, but you can get through it. Trust me, I am a testament of that. You can get through it. I'm not saying you don't have too many scars, but you get through it. Anyway, so all right. There's some cuts and stitches, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. And Mr. Ford, as usual, I appreciate you tuning in, sir, and lending your wisdom as usual. I always say,
today. I was part of the audience today. I'm in the comments.
yeah, we gotta get through it, man. I'm telling you, we gotta get through it because I'm telling you,
that rant was epic, sir. That was an epic rant right there. I was like, my God.
The answer to some of us is sex. That's the answer to some of our problems. It's just sometimes you need to shut up and just have sex. Forget all the petty stuff. People want to feel connected and they want to feel intimately validated. And so that's really what the problem is.
I get it.
Now, of course, I'm saying this in all legal scenarios. I'm not promoting random sex. I don't want the churches to come and write me letters, but just saying.
They're on their way.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. All right, you guys. Let's continue to change the world one heart at a time. And thank you for listening to Unscripted. Once again, it is Charles Dixon and Adam Ford. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we shall see you soon. Take care. All right.
Take it easy, guys.
Let's see. Hold on.